All right, and now we'd like to welcome Mike from Canal, New York to the show. Hi, Mike. Nice to meet you.
How are you?
You're a Canal ambassador.
Sort of.
All right. Okay.
So tell us what we have here.
Okay. Now, New York State has 4 canals in full operation across the state. The Champlain, the Erie, the Oswego, and the Cucamonga, and they're all connected. And on those 4 canals, there are 57 locks.
Wow.
Like this model. That's a lot of locks. All right. Now, the reason we have to have the locks is because as you cross the state in any direction, the elevation of the land changes. So the locks do 2 things. Number 1 is they create level water to navigate on from lock to lock.
Okay.
You know, and then the second thing they do is they act like an elevator on the water to bring you from one level to the other, either up or down. And that's what the locks do.
Okay.
Okay. Now, all the locks are basically the same size. 327 feet long inside the chamber, that's called the chamber, and 45 feet wide. But how much they lift the boats up and down is different from lock to lock, depending on the elevation of the land.
Huh.
For example, the 2 locks that you had on your chart up here, Clyde, lock 26, and Mays Point, lock 25, only a 6-foot lift on those 2 locks. But if you go to Little Falls, lock 17, and the 1 lock is 40 feet 6 inches in the 1 lock.
Wow.
Okay,
The
now
boat goes up 40
for
feet.
every 10 feet of water in the lock is 1 million gallons. So to fill the lock at Little Falls is just over 4 million gallons to fill it or empty it.
Wow.
All right. Now the locks work by gravity. They fill from the water above and they empty to the water below. And the main parts of the lock that operate the lock you cannot see, and that's the water tunnels. And there's one way under the ground on this side and one under the ground on that side, and they're quite large. You can drive a small car through them. And on each end of the water tunnel, here, 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 and here, are valve doors that go up and down, and they're 5 foot by 7 foot. Now, if you want to fill the lock, you have to close the ones on this end and open them on this end, and the lock will fill by gravity going through those water tunnels. And then the bottom and sides of the locks are wall ports, or holes, and the water will go in and fill the lock by gravity. Okay, if you want to empty the lock, you have to close these and open these, just the opposite. And that'll allow the water to get down through the wall ports into the water tunnels, and it'll dump to the water below. Okay, we're going to operate the lock. So on this end, open your door.
Okay, so I'm doing this.
Those are the gates. Yep,
Gates.
Go this way with it.
Okay, so I'm
There
opening
you
the
go.
gates. All right, you guys
Open
see
them up.
that?
All right,
They're open.
Bring your tugboat in.
So I'm just moving it. Okay,
And
so he
get her
goes
in
in
there.
there.
All right.
So he's on low level.
All right, close your gates.
Okay, I can do
Okay,
this.
now in order to go from the lower
Sorry.
pool to the upper pool, the lock operator from this house will close those big valve gates or
Okay.
doors,
Okay.
so the water can't get out when he fills it. And then he's going to open them here, he's going to raise them up, and he's going to open them here, and that'll allow the water to go from the upper pool through the openings, through the water tunnels, through the wall ports, and by gravity, the lock will fill. You pull that slow towards you.
Okay, so right now the valves are opening it and bringing
Yep,
it up.
yep.
They're not opening that gate yet. Okay.
Now, these are closed, these are
All right.
open. All right, now we got the boat all the way up,
Yay.
and now to get the boat out, we have to open the gates on this end, and the boat will come out, and there it is. Now, you'll notice the gates are V-shaped facing up. That's because they wouldn't hold the water pressure
would
if
break
they were
through
straight
it?
across. So
Okay.
that acts like an arch. All right, now we're going to go to the opposite. We're going
Okay.
to go from the upper pool to the lower pool.
Okay.
So we'll open the gates,
Okay.
bring the boat
The
in,
boat comes in.
close the gates.
Okay.
Now, the lock operator is going to do the opposite to empty or dump the lock that he did when he filled the lock. So from this little house,
Over there.
he's going to close those big valve doors
Right.
so no more water can get in.
Right.
Then he's going to go down here from this little house and he's going to open them, okay? And that'll allow the water to go down through the wall ports or the holes in the lock into the water tunnels and dump to the water below.
So the water's coming out this way down in here. Okay.
Yeah, underneath. You can't
Okay.
see it. Yeah, okay, push that slow.
Oh, that's cool. All right, so this is going down, 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 down.
All right, now open
we're at level.
your gates,
And now the boat can come
and
out.
now the boat can come out.
Awesome.
That
All
is
right,
so
close your
cool.
gates.
Okay.
Now, the gravity lock, it's all done by gravity, no water pumps.
Okay.
The gravity lock is over 500 years old. It was invented by Leonardo da Vinci.
Get out of here.
Oh,
Yeah, how about that, huh?
And we're still using it here. So can I ask you a quick question? When this
Sure.
was in here, what would happen if I were to open those gates? How come they don't just open that up to fill it up?
Well, that's because it would cause the boat probably to sink with all the water coming
it'd
in,
be
the
too
turmoil.
crazy coming in?
That's why
Okay.
they use water tunnels,
The water tunnels
with
are
wall
cool.
ports to cushion that flow of water coming into the lock.
That's great, because that's the part you don't normally get to see. So when you go
That's
to the
right.
lock, it's invisible, and that's where the water's coming
That's
from.
right.
Wow, that is really cool. Thank you for
Okay,
sharing that with
any
us.
other questions?
What's the smallest lock, the lowest, shortest lock?
Clyde and Mays Point.
And was the biggest one the one you
25 and
said?
20, and the biggest one is at Little Falls, Lock 17.
And what's the farthest you have to go between two locks to get to the next
well,
lock?
the long level from Rochester to Rochester out to Lockport is 60 miles.
Okay.
That's
Before you hit the next
called the
lock.
long level.
Okay, that's great. All right, thank you, Mike.
Okay.
It was really
All right.
wonderful having you here.
All right.
Thank you.
Answered lots of questions.
To learn more about canals and to see other videos, go to our website, homeworkhotline.org. And when we come back, Laura will head to the board to show us more cool stuff about canal locks.
All right.